Hey everybody, and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book and animated series created by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I am one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me today is TJ.
Oh, hello, I'm first today. It's TJ.
Hey.
I knew you were going to do that. I just had a feeling. That's why I was like getting comfortable in my seat.
Sorry, that's
You've been first
the order.
Like every episode. I'm first like maybe once a year. So this is it. This is that time.
Mm-hmm. And Bill.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, it's Bill. How's it going, man?
It's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So this is going to be a little bit of a smaller episode, I'm expecting. I don't know. We're recording it right now, so we'll see what to expect.
Important.
No.
There's lots of cool things to talk about, just not a lot of things to talk about.
This is just going to be a little bit of a catch-up chat. We had we're at the end of convention season. We went to a couple ourselves and wanted to sit back and talk a little bit about it. Our last episode was a little frenzied, recording off-site, which was an amazing episode. The Invincible comic books are back with Battle Beast, and it was a lot of fun to talk all about that with a friend of the show, Wyatt Layne. So if you haven't checked out our last episode, be sure to check that one out. That was a very fun one. But if you wanted to be part of the show, you can email us, send suggestions or thoughts. Like we've got a couple emails from listeners coming up in the show. You can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us over on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button.
Hey.
Help us get our name out there,
Like and share.
I think
we're video now. We've been video for a little over a year now.
Yep. I think this episode is actually going to be a worthwhile one, especially because we're going to be talking about a lot of things that we saw and did over the conventions that we went to. And, I'd like to put some pictures on there. So check out the YouTube version. There'll be some photos of things that we're talking about.
Neat.
Neat.
Neato.
Check out the website as well. That's theinvinciblepodcast.com, where we have all the episodes listed, videos, a little bit easier to find everything. We actually haven't talked about this in a while, but, with TJ mentioning subscribing on YouTube, go give us a review over on iTunes, because that actually helps us out a good amount when it comes to being discoverable over on YouTube. If somebody types in Invincible into iTunes or podcasts or whatever, they get like motivational podcasts sometimes and things like that. But to make it so that we're more likely to be seen, the reviews go into account. And I'm going to read just the most recent two, because we haven't read them in a while, and I don't know if we ever read these ones. So first,
are these like a year old? How old are these?
It says about a year. So I don't know if it breaks it down into anything closer than that, if it's more than a couple months. Here's one called Fantastic Show by Eric with like a million C's. Great discussion, fun banter among the hosts, and a brilliant topic. I started listening around the time the animated series premiered after being a fan of the comics for over a decade. And I got caught up with all the episodes in a couple of months. Always looking forward to new episodes. Love, me. Not me, that would be Eric. Here's one from T.
Thanks,
Green.
man.
I found these guys after watching season 1 of Invincible, and I was immediately hooked by their love for the comic. However, I didn't want to listen much because of spoilers. Now I'm reading the whole series and listening to the New Reader series as I move through it.
God damn it. That's why you wanted to read these.
Hey, this is the most recent one. Thanks to them, I took the step needed to get to know more about my new favorite superhero. Hell yeah. Shout out to the New Reader series. If you are worried about spoilers, because we do in fact spoil the comic on this show. We're talking openly about both the animated series and all issues of the comic book.
Who put in that, did it say a name?
That was tgreen_15.
I wonder if that's the same. I remember somebody emailed us and said something similar, where they were
we do get
reading
that a
and
lot.
listening.
A lot.
But we just read that
Really?
not too long ago. That they said that they were listening to the.
To be fair, when we started the podcast, our episodes were New Reader episodes too. To be fair,
it is true. It is true. So there is a point, and I say it when we get to that point in the New Readers, that you can go back and listen to like our issue 136 review, issue 137. We actually do it by issue, and that's when back when there were new issues.
Did we meet T. Green?
No.
He's the one that said it when we were in Chicago, which we'll get to. We'll get to all that.
Yeah,
we
we'll
met
see.
a guy who said that he was listening to the New Readers.
Ray? That was
It
Ray.
was his Oh yeah, maybe it was his girlfriend, I think.
No,
that was Chris and
Chris
Gina.
Wise.
Yeah,
Chris
Wise and Gina.
I'm not good with names.
It's okay. No, more on that soon. But no, there's a lot of new reader love. If you're jumping into the comics for the first time, go check out our new reader episodes. Read along with Bill's wife Liz and our friend Brittany as they discover Invincible for the first time. And then once you're all caught up, you don't have to worry about spoilers. You can come in, chat with us, ask us questions. I
mean, we also do a read along. And we're also kind of cool.
However, the reread that we did was from the perspective of people who have finished the series, so we do spoil it.
Yeah,
that was the whole point of that version.
I understand the appeal of the new reader episodes, especially because especially because it's from the perspective of women, and that's not the norm when it comes to comic books, and they have really fantastic discussions. I don't often talk good about the new reader series, but they're worth going back to and checking them.
TJ and I have been talking about how we really are starting to feel the itch.
I'm feeling
to
the
read
itch
again.
to read again.
Do another reread of Invincible.
Do we need to do it on the podcast?
I don't think so. However,
again on the podcast, we're just gonna do the rereaders.
No significant Invincible news this week, so we're skipping over news. Last month on that episode with Wyatt Layne, there was a ton of Invincible related news about the new figures and the comic and everything like that. So go check that out if you're interested in that. But we do have a couple emails that I wanted to touch on before we get into our main topic. First up, we have one from our friend Jacob Goodhart. He says, "Dear Invincible Podcast, I love to see that we're going to apparently continue the story of Invincible with the Battlebee series. I admit I was expecting something about season 2 of Invincible from Comic-Con this year and was a little sad there wasn't any news that I saw. But that doesn't make me any less excited for when the show will come back. I also have begun picking up Kirkman's newest comic, Firepower, with the first book that I picked up after moving with my family to a new house. Oh, congrats. My question for the show: what is your favorite era for Invincible? Part of what I love about the comic is that Mark and the world that he lives in are allowed to grow and change, unlike regular superhero comics that editorial will try and reset back to a status quo, glares at the latest Spider-Man run, and render the prior stories somewhat null. But for Mark, it's a pretty natural progression. Personally, I love the brief time seeing Mark on Telestria with Eve and baby Tara, and I'd love to see more of Mark and Eve trying to live a domestic life on an alien planet while Mark becomes a more galactic hero by working with the Coalition of Planets. Look forward to the next episode, Jacob Goodhart." Thanks. So do you guys have an answer off the top of your head? Favorite era of Invincible?
Off the top of my head, I would say right before the cosmic stuff started. Like, maybe, no, I don't know, because I really like the stuff in space. I think I like the Viltrumite War. So not the, so when they
so that's like 75-ish.
Flew through the planet, like, and they got like their whole gang together, like with Space Racer and stuff like that. Like, there was something really fun about that, and it changed the status quo of like who you were reading every single month.
It did, and it had, that era was like clearly defined lines, because it was like, okay, Thrag is the bad guy. He's got, Thula and, all the General Craig and so on. And then you've got, Thetis and Alan and Battle Beast and like the good guys. And you've got these two very clear, large opposing forces that are clashing. So that was pretty epic. I remember enjoying that. How about you, TJ?
I mean, when you're talking about an era of Invincible, I gotta say, even though it's probably the
Conquest,
the most popular, not just Conquest, but also like a little before that, like from like 50 to 65-ish.
Yeah, before and like right after.
Like 50 is Cecil, and that's that big reveal, and Invincible's falling out with him, and then also the teases throughout all of 50 of possibly Angstrom coming back. Also, Wolfman was in the 50s.
Yeah, 50, dude. I mean, yes.
So good. And then issue 60, obviously, the Invincible War. And then, my favorite character has a big moment there, which and then obviously Conquest. So that whole era is just like when, at the time where I was just the most in love with Invincible and could not fucking wait for the next month to come out or the next issue to come out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I tried to pick something other than that because that's kind of,
I get it.
But go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, like what TJ is saying, Conquest itself, that, 63 or something, and 62, like those like 3 issues over the course of like an hour or whatever of Mark's life is obviously a highlight. But with TJ, I mean, even like 51 to like 59, those like 8 or 9 issues like in that gap, even not even counting 60 or 50. I love the black and blue suit Mark. I love the those issues that are in there, including the Wolfman one, Mark and Eve going on their date, like the issue that's all 16-page panels, like
Kid Omni-Man,
the Mauler twin stuff.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite areas. You're right. My first.
That's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot in Invincible, I think, and it's like that is like the prison era of The Walking Dead for me.
Oh
no. Like how like the prison era was like the best.
Yeah.
Like it had all the best drama. Like the Governor, Woodbury, like all the stuff that like you remember about. Like that's the era of Invincible. That's just like the fucking sweet spot. But Invincible stayed really consistent.
It didn't dip.
Yeah, it stayed really
and any like somewhat dips were far from that. It was strong for a while after. Like we're talking 50 to 60, but up to 75, 80 was amazing.
Mm-hmm. I think Conquest was just that moment where people are like, oh, this shit really like is fucking crazy. Like there's tons of moments before that. You have, Rex versus the Lizard League. You have obviously Angstrom Levy, there's crazy moments before it.
Mm-hmm.
But Conquest was just nonstop fucking craziness. And I feel like that's the typical answer.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's okay that
the non-related to that era, favorite era, I always love, the Mark and Amber stuff, the stuff with Africa and Eve and the will they, won't they, and the, the love triangle stuff and everything that was going on in that era, because that's also like something that I really love is the learning more about those loose threads that were brought up. So that was all around the area that we get Titan coming back. We get answers about the Sequids and Shapesmith. And that was in that era where it was like, okay, Invincible is going on for a while. We don't need to keep planting all these seeds and like leaving all these loose threads. We could start touching on them again. And that's when it's like, oh, this universe is just growing now instead of just like teasing. So I also really look back fondly on that era too.
Also, even though it was 3 issues, shout out to Reboot because
it's fun.
That was really cool.
And it was at the perfect time.
A plethora of references. He's like, oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize I mentioned the Wolfman prison era, and it's like right there. If you're not watching the audio episode, anytime we mention something, TJ just like points behind him
points to the original page
at the original art. So yeah, that was a good question, Jacob. Thank you very much. We've got another email here. Hi guys, on your last episode, you talked about possible voices for the AI voice if the recent Battlebee story was to become part of the animated series. At the beginning of the story, it should be Kelsey Grammer, the actor that played Frasier on the TV show of the same name. Then, when the AI says it changed its voice to be more pleasing, it should then switch to the actor David Pierce, who played Frasier's brother, Niles. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. Love, Judd from Canada. Also, Steve is Powerplex. Thank you, Judd. I really like that. I think that's really good.
That's really funny.
I can see it.
I can too. I think that'd be good.
I know that, and just going to his last statement there's a lot of people thinking that, but
he put Steve as Powerplex in quotes. So, yeah. I mean, I think he's saying it as a statement that is often said.
Yeah.
Or if he's like quoting.
We have talked about it.
Yeah. I strongly disagree. And I think it'd be funny if I was wrong, but I really do not think so.
I was actually thinking about Powerplex in the show recently, and I feel like he needs. I don't think they will do this. Mm-hmm. Oh, you have a human being behind you. Hello.
Look at how cute she's being, like trying to be quiet and stuff about it. Oh my God, she's still over here sneaking. You just can't see her.
Hello.
All right, Remy.
I feel like
I don't think they're going to do this, but I kind of want Powerplex to have his own episode and it to just be gut wrenching and
it'll
just
be like
awful
it'll be like
and sad.
like the comic.
It'll literally be just
I
like
want
the
it
comic.
I want it so bad. I just don't think they're gonna do it. I don't know. I feel like there are so many other. But at the same time, I feel like Rexplode deserves his own. He probably his own episode.
He probably
will.
will.
Just his origin.
There's too many things that I think deserve their own episode. I don't know if they're going to do them all.
If it were 30-minute episodes, 20 episodes, like Avatar: The Last Airbender style, absolutely hands down, we would get both of those things.
100%.
But hour-long episodes when you only get 8, as much as I love that Powerplex issue and I love the Rexplode origin, there's no way we're getting that dedicated.
The only reason why I want that is because Invincible showed that it can be emotional, but it's known as that crazy, like, conquest, like bloody, like craziness. And the Powerplex episode, I guess the Rexplode episode too, but Powerplex, I would say, is even more sad. It could really show their legs on how emotional they could be.
Mm-hmm. The Powerplex episode is going to be paced and built like the Titan episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where Battle Beast came in. So it was like literally like 50-50, where it was a lot of time spent with Titan, which it just replaced Titan with Powerplex.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
No, I think it has to at least be that.
And it would be a nice little like switcheroo when you're like, oh, who is this guy? Like, he wants to become a hero. Oh, all of a sudden he hates Mark. Why does he hate? Oh, because like his family was in the destruction of the city. So
yeah,
they could really make it emotional, like you said, TJ.
Yep. All right, we're gonna go now. Thank you, Judd. We're gonna go now to our main topic of the show, which is just a chat on our most recent convention trips that we went on, starting with our drive to Chicago. So if you didn't know, Bill, TJ, and I went to C2E2 this year. This was last month. We actually recorded the last episode from the hotel after we got there. The morning after we had arrived, we drove up the one day, got to Chicago pretty late, woke up, met up with Sound of the Invincible podcast, Wyatt Layne, and recorded our last episode of the podcast. It was all pretty fast and crazy.
As much as we have interacted with Wyatt over the years, it was the first time that we had ever actually like met him in person.
Yeah.
And you never know how people are going to be, like he seems cool, but you never know, And we had a good time. It was good.
We had a blast. This was
we had a great time.
This was one of the best vacations I have ever been on. Like we had, we've gone on trips. We've been friends for a long time. And it would be normal for us to, get on each other's nerves a little bit. And we didn't at all. Like, we just had an absolute blast. It was just so much fun. We all got along so well, Wyatt included.
Bill and I in a car, just the two of us, 9 hours there, 9 hours back. And we survived.
Where was I?
We made it.
Strapped to the roof. Just the two of us.
I just mean like me and Bill like always kind of want to kill each other. And
I know it was just kind of funny the way you put it.
Yeah, not to skip ahead, but we're talking about driving. So at one point, I was falling asleep in the back seat. Ryan was driving. TJ was in the front seat, and Ryan put down on accident his
back passenger
window. And the back passenger window at the same time, and it created this crazy vortex. And Ryan has a hatchback thing, and I thought the back had flown open because I was like asleep, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like I was so fucking mad at Ryan.
Yeah,
honestly, like you, like Ryan and Bill you guys never really like fight, right? And me and Ryan started laughing, and you were legit mad at that. You were like, "What the fuck, Ryan?
You have no idea what that was like."
I was gonna die.
I know. That's the thing is you were scared for your life in that moment.
You were
back to the car,
which made it even more hilarious.
Yeah. But I guess if we're talking on the topic of driving, the drive went really well, really fast for the most part. I drove most of the way the first time, and then as soon as Bill took over, there was just a streak of lightning as soon as he started driving in front of us, and then it just downpoured on Bill pretty much the entirety of his drive.
4 hours.
The second
4 hours, 3 hours.
The driver's seat.
Yep. Yeah. So that was perfect. But we went into actually downtown Lockport, which is about 45 minutes outside of Chicago. And we met there the day or so, like the day before C2E2 started, there was a Radiant Black event. So if you didn't know, we're friends with Kyle Higgins, the writer and creator of Radiant Black. He's put us into the comic book as kind of counterpart characters to who we are in real life in a joking way. And in the comic book, we play as we are characters that run a news show about the local superhero Radiant Black. And so this event that took place in Lockport, Illinois, had this weird, like, otherworldly, like, thing where the comic itself takes place in Lockport, Illinois, and our characters in the comic have appeared in Lockport, Illinois, and here we are doing an event as ourselves with other readers attending that know who we are from the comics, and we're just walking around. Bill's wearing his, CGN shirt, and all in all, the event itself was really, really awesome. Like it kind of blew our expectations away.
It was wild. It was crazy how many people were there.
Yeah, like I remember. So we were helping, like, set up a little bit in the one room. I'm sure there will be pictures posted maybe right now or right now pictures of the blacklight stuff. But I remember the whole time we were thinking, like, I wonder how many people are going to show up to this, because it's an hour outside of C2E2. Like, how many people
on a work day? Yeah, it's a Thursday.
And I remember, so we were there for like 4 hours, 5 hours, because we got there early afternoon.
Help it set up.
Stayed there pretty much all day. Went back to the hotel, kind of got changed, got dressed. We're getting ready. We're maybe 8, I think.
We actually went to Portillo's to get some hot dogs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which was really good. Mm-hmm. It was really good.
And we got yelled at because we tried to go inside, but it was a to-go place.
Yeah,
only to go. You can't walk in and get it. You had to drive through. That was it.
Yeah. But I don't like vegetables on stuff like pizza, hot dogs, relish. I don't like that
and
stuff.
And this has
but it just,
everything on it.
In Rome, I ate it, and it was phenomenal. It was a really great hot dog.
It was so good.
I think I ate 3 of them or 2 of them. Anyways,
there were a lot of hot dogs.
So we got a text message from Kyle saying, "Where are you? Everyone's here." And we're like, what does that mean? So then we got there, and it was just amazingly packed.
Because it was just boom. All right, you're in it. There's people everywhere that are here for this thing. We need to do something.
And we had we had 3 floors? 3 floors?
2 floors.
And it was just it was packed, completely packed.
Yeah. It was what a fucking that could have been the finish to our weekend.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good it was, and that's how we started. And it was just such a fucking guys.
It was great because it was such a high that we just kind of like coasted on that and still had really good times throughout the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. If you can ever go out and experience something, start saving now. Go to a con. Mm-hmm. Bring your friends who love the stuff that you do, and just like it's such an amazing experience, and I wouldn't have changed anything. It was fantastic, starting with the Radiant Black party.
So what this was if you read Radiant Black, it takes place in Lockport, New York. That's where we were. The bar that we were at where the meet and greet took place was actually in the comic. Mm-hmm. There's train tracks and there's a theater that's all right there. You feel like you're in the comic book. That's all in the comic book as well. Mm-hmm. So we go there and we met. What it was a meet and greet with Kyle Higgins, writer, creator of Radiant Black, but also the entire Massiverse, all of the creators,
most of them,
the writers, mm-hmm. Not all of them, but a good portion of the creators of the side stories, like
Ryan
The
Parrott,
Dead Lucky,
Melissa Flores, Eduardo Ferragato, artist on the series. I mean, a ton of people. It was so cool. I mean, obviously Michael Basuto, who edits and designs all the comics, the whole event was great. But then getting to know all these people and all these creators and talk with them and hang out with them before and after was
so much fun.
A highlight of it. It was so great.
I hope they feel the same way. how we felt with Wyatt, like hanging out with Wyatt. We're like, wow, this is really going well. Like he's not weird, he's like a lot of fun. And like they meet us for the first time, and hopefully their reaction was like, wow, these guys aren't just a bunch of asshole fanboys. They're like people.
They were all awesome. They were all really cool. But Eduardo Ferragato, he was so much fun.
Yeah.
I loved hanging out with him. He's just such a great guy.
We spent a lot of time with Eduardo, and he he's.
I think we could say this. If you're listening to this and you read Radiant Black, the back of issue 18 is going to have a little write-up on the event that is done really well with some more photos. So take a look at that. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and it does Michael wrote it, I believe. And he did a really great job of like capturing
summing up
the craziness of it all, how hectic it is, but then also just how like worth it.
Right? Yeah.
The whole experience is God, so amazing. So then next day 2.
Well, not yet, but like we had mentioned earlier, also we're there and we run into Chris and Gina, who, we know Christopher Wise from writing in emails all the time and talking to them and them telling us that like we were the main reason they went. They weren't even going to C2E2. They live, like 5-6 hours away, went to this event and were driving back after the event. They like closed it down with us pretty much.
They were there until after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think.
But getting to just like sit with them and chat Invincible, like during this whole thing was a blast. That was a ton of fun too. Gina, who's working her way through the new reader episodes right now.
It's just an amazing community, guys. Like we have made so many friends, some of which are really, really close friends right now through the podcast and because of Invincible. It's so humbling and it's so fucking amazing. It never is not surprising.
This was one of those ones where like after several years of not being able to go to cons and kind of not talking to just a wall, but like, it was nice to have that reminder that it exists and it is a personal thing and there are people out there that do listen and enjoy it, and just getting to share those conversations with real people in person was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then there was C2E2.
And then that was where we started. So then we woke up, drove into Chicago, got a new hotel room attached to the convention center, which was a big deal. Bill and I had previously never done that. TJ, you've had some experiences with that before, but just being able to be at our hotel and just walk to the show floor and back and forth and not have to drive, park, figure out an Airbnb or anything like that.
Yeah.
And staying multiple days so you can just kind of, I'll be back later I'll be back on Sunday, or I'll be, just having the comfort of just being able to do that made the whole weekend just feel so natural and smooth. But we stayed in Jersey.
New York, we stayed in Jersey and we walked
much
to the bus.
We walked, if we were at the con for the day, we were not going back midday. Mm-mm. We were there all fucking day.
If you needed something, it was in your bag, or you don't have it, or in your pocket.
Not our bags. It was in Ryan's bag because Ryan was like my grandma. Do you need a granola bar to cheer you up?
Hey, well, you were the bag person on this trip.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So yeah, C2E2.
Listen, if you ever want to go to C2E2, don't even bother buying a badge because they didn't check. Just have a lanyard with like a weird ticket on it. Yeah, I'm kidding.
They don't.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. But they didn't.
We did.
Really did
we did.
And I've been to C2E2 before.
Yeah.
I've been to C2E2 before, and they didn't check that either.
Yeah.
There's just this gigantic opening.
And we've heard from multiple people telling us that,
Mm-hmm. But you don't want to risk that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So C2E2, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the fact that like this is a convention post Invincible animated series, and that was made clear by, well, I guess the biggest thing was for the first time, apart from seeing Jen Druchniak in Boston, like 6 years ago or so, dressed as a Bloody Invincible, we got to see Invincible cosplay.
Mm-hmm. Nope, that was 8 years ago, right?
That was 8 years ago?
It was 2014. 2014.
So we saw
Boston.
We haven't been doing the podcast 8 years.
Maybe. We went to Boston 2 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two times.
So yeah, we saw at least 4 Omni-Man. Got a picture with 3 of them, and 2 Invincibles. Got a picture with one of them, Jen. So not pictured is an Omni-Man that I saw going down the escalator, and I shouted out to him. And
we met Bill, right? Is that his name?
Yeah, Bill Lonergan.
Yeah, so he's on Instagram and Twitter, and you can see his cosplays. He's met Ottley a bunch. Ottley knows him. He's done cons with his sons.
He's like the Nolan cosplay.
The Nolan, yeah. So getting to know him and getting to talk to him, guys, I can't stop stressing enough how fucking surreal it was. How many times did we say, is this a simulation? Are we in the Matrix? Because like it just kept getting better and better. And just hearing about like his wife's name is fucking Debbie. Yeah. She helps make his costume. Yeah. Like it was perfect.
His sons dress up as Mark and Oliver.
Invincible. Yeah.
And one of the things that was one of those like holy shit moments for me was talking to Bill, because we were standing there chatting for a while, and then like every minute or two somebody would walk up and ask to take a picture with him.
Yeah, so we didn't see 1,000 Omni-Man cosplays, but we saw literally, if we would have stayed there and talked for an hour, we would have seen 100 people be like, "Holy shit, can I take a picture with you?" Yeah, it was that constant. Every 30 seconds, someone would come and be like, "Oh my god!"
And it's not an easy cosplay either. You know what I mean? So I think that factors into why you don't see too many of them.
And the same thing happened with Jen. I mean, they were dressed up as Invincible and Omni-Man, and we were trying to talk to them, and then just every 2 seconds, can we get a picture? Can we get a picture?
Totally amazing though.
And they're so like. I mean, they cosplay all the time, and they're awesome at it. Like literally, what was the character? I'm not familiar with
Cloud?
The day before
she did like Kingdom Hearts.
I know. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm familiar with the character. Don't play the game or anything. It was ridiculously good. It was so good.
It was frustratingly good.
It's like,
it was. How do you do this?
Perfect. It was perfect. So yeah, they do this like they're extremely good at it. But they had all the poses already planned out for pictures and stuff, and they killed it. But yeah, every 2 seconds, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? It was awesome.
But you know what, guys? Like that's what it's about. And after like getting to know some people who do cosplays, like they love that shit, and they do it for that reason. You know, like Jen. Like just her talking about her shoulder piece that was like this foam metal studded like Cloud's shoulder piece. Yeah. How she was up at like 4 a.m. working on that shit, like trying to get it to like stay or something like that. Like she and everybody else, I'm sure, put so much work and effort into that. And it's such a fun. Yeah, it's such a fun thing.
Yeah. And of course, just absolutely a blast to talk to and chat with and everything. We could have been there all day just talking. So, and then there was another Omni-Man that we ran into. Never heard of the podcast, hasn't read the comics. Gave him a sticker, told him about the podcast, and went on our way. Just an Omni-Man. Just an Omni-Man walking around a convention that, hadn't read the comics. And that's a thing. That's a thing now. It's crazy. But it wasn't to the point where it was like, it was great. It was a good thing. It wasn't like, okay, this has become too mainstream. There was never that feeling or anything like that. We had seen a couple of things. Was there a couple pieces of artwork? We would see behind artists' tables, there would be some prints of Invincible. We got a couple of them. I know there was one really awesome one of the close-up of Invincible's eye with the goggle with the Omni-Man in the reflection. Did you know...
Sorry, before we go too far, I just want to call this out because I think it deserves it. If you want to know what we're talking about, go on Instagram and go to JMD Groovy and follow Jen so you can see the Invincible and the Omni-Man, how great they were, and the Cloud too. Just want to call that out.
Yeah. Seeing prints behind artist tables, seeing a little bit more Invincible love at the convention. Obviously, not much as far as floppy issues in boxes. Back in the day, you'd be able to find several issues in there. Now it was
damn Invincible Iron Man.
Now it was few and far between, and what you did find was very expensive.
Yeah.
TJ, we got to see Ryan Ottley.
We did.
One of the first tables we went to. Yeah.
I mean, he was so busy. I mean, which is great to see. Like there were people. When he came up to do a signing, there were people that were all the way down the aisle and then around the corner. It was nuts, which is awesome because people are getting into Invincible and it's just it's growing and growing. So yeah, we all got something from Ottley this time, right?
Yep.
So Bill, You want to talk about what you got?
So I got a commission, a headshot of Immortan Joe from Mad Max Fury Road, which is just fucking outstanding, and I love it, and I'm going to cherish it for the rest of my life. Yeah, it was great. I couldn't be happier. I was thinking of like who I could get, Ottley. I didn't know if I wanted to get a hero or something like that, so I wanted to think outside the box and have him do something that like a character that I've never really seen before, and it turned out great. So Ryan, you got something too.
Yeah, since my first real comic book convention in 2014, I was not able to spend a lot of money, but I wanted to get just some artwork, and so I started doing sketch cards, and I've talked about them on the podcast in the past and everything like that. And so since then, I've been doing sketch cards from various artists, all of Invincible, and I had never gotten one from Ryan Ottley because the only two times I had been able to get something from him, the first was I wanted him to draw my favorite character, Cyclops, and did that in 2014. You don't even want to know what that cost. And then
because it was so cheap,
or the page from Conquest.
Yeah, seriously.
And then the second time we saw him in Toronto when we recorded with him on one of our early episodes, I got the logo for this very podcast. So since then, I haven't gotten a chance to see him and get something from him. And so this time I finally got to add him to my sketch card collection. So I do have a nice sketch card of Invincible for him. But TJ... You've been doing something.
Yeah, so this is something that I've been working on for years.
Since 2014,
and I haven't talked
right?
No,
sorry.
Like 2017, 2018?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I haven't talked about it on Twitter, haven't talked about it online. I didn't want to, really reveal it until it was done. But I've been working on Ryan Ottley has been working on a jam piece for me. So I had the idea of doing... zombie Invincible characters, and every time I would see him, I would have him add a new character to an 11 by 17 piece. So
the first time you saw him, he kind of
the first time I
out,
saw
right?
him, the first time I saw him, I told him my idea, and he's like, just me. And I'm like, yeah, it's just going to be you. I'm going to have you add a character every time.
It's not really a jam piece. It's more of a very big commission that I'm going to pay you over the course of several years to complete.
Exactly. And then he did Invincible, a little off center, and then just kind of drew circles on where the other characters would be. And then I saw him like a year later at, I think, New York. And then he did a Conquest for me, and then he started mapping out a little more detail in the background, but not much, And then you could start seeing like where people were going to be. And then I saw him again, I think at C2E2, he did the Omni-Man for me. So at C2E2 this time, I got my Thrag done, and Thrag, I'll get into it later, but. He did Thrag, and then like he still had openings on his commissions, and I was like, oh, should I get another one? And I did.
Yeah.
So I got Angstrom.
Yeah.
And should I?
So you could skip ahead because we're talking about it now.
All right. So I'll skip ahead. So after C2E2 was done, after everything was over, I ended up going to Fan Expo Canada, which Ottley wasn't even planning on going to. It's funny. He told us at C2E2, he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I'm not going to Fan Expo.
And then like 2 days later. He's like, I really should. That's later, a good convention, right?
He changed his mind. Yeah. So he changed his mind like 2 days after C2E2 decided to go. So I'm like, shit, I got to go get the piece done. I only had one character left. Yeah, it would be done. So I went to Fan Expo Canada, and I met him there, and he finished it for me. And I'm going to.
I'll post a picture. You don't have to show the camera.
He'll post a picture.
It'll just be right here. I mean, you can still hold it up, but I'm still going to post it. I'm
still going to hold it up. That's fine. But
oh God, put it in something.
Is it in something?
I just took it out of something.
Okay, thank you.
TJ.
It's so crazy.
But it's so insane. I mean, it's the level of detail in this. Like, I thought what I was going to say before was...
No, people can see it. I'll put a bigger version of it. That's going to be tiny. TJ, that's going to be this big. It's okay.
But you're I mean, you got to zoom in then, all right? So people will know what I'm talking about. The level of detail in Conquest's face, I think, is ridiculous. Omni-Man's face is ridiculous. Thrag, I was the least excited for, and he's like front and center with his eyeball popping out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like, I have so much original art. I've always been fascinated by original art, that the talent and the hard work that artists put in, that the ability to like have like picture something in their mind and be able to just throw it on a piece of paper is insane to me. And that's why I love. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's always blown me away. And that's why I love original art so much. I feel like I kind of have lost some motivation in collecting original art because like, where do I go from here? Like, this is the coolest thing. Like,
I think you've reached the end of your journey, TJ.
Oh man, like,
at least for now, because that thing.
At least for now, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, artists like Ryan Ottley, especially as big as he is now, you don't get pieces like this from artists like that anymore. So yeah, I'm super lucky.
And if you do, it's something like what you did, and it's going to take years and a lot of money.
Yeah. So I saw Ottley in Toronto, and one of his. What's funny is he was doing commissions.
Careful, TJ.
It's in the thing. It's in the.
All right.
He was doing commissions, and I went to go pick it up. And I had already talked to Ottley at Fan Expo before this. So when I dropped it off to him, so I went to go pick it up, and the woman Ottley was busy like signing comics, right, and was looking down, didn't look up. So I walked up, and one of the workers like behind him was like, "Oh, are you here? Did you want to like get a comic book?" And I was like, "No, I'm picking something up." And she's like, "Oh, what were you picking up?" And Ottley's still like looking down. I was like, "Oh, a jam piece that he's doing for me." And then he looked up and he's like, "Oh, hey TJ, yeah, I got it right here for you, right?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, you're just picking up like a commission?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he pulled it out and he like showed it to me, and the woman goes, "Oh wow!"
Not used to seeing something like that.
Yeah, and she was like, I was like freaking out because I couldn't believe like this last time was the time that he put all the red all over it, all the blood over it. Yeah. So there was no blood on it prior to that. So he put the blood on it. He added red to Omni-Man and Thrag's costume.
Alan.
And Alan, yep. Alan was the last person he did, but it was funny. Yeah, so we joked around about one of the other workers that's I guess good friends with Ottley was like. I had to take a picture with him like in front of his standee.
Yeah.
And I guess they had been talking about how Ottley is like really proud of his Rolex watch, and the guy was like, yeah, he's like, make sure you get the Rolex in the shot, make sure you get the Rolex. And Ottley like put his Rolex up, and then the guy was like, yeah, he TJ probably paid for that Rolex by getting that out. I was like, oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's so worth it. And like I said, you don't see pieces like this before, and which was cool. Another thing too was like me and another friend that we met through the podcast that I went with, Mike Carter. Mm-hmm. We after the con was done and over with, we went out to eat, and then I was waiting outside for Mike to come out, and I was out there, and a guy walked by and saw me with it, and he goes, he's like, "Oh, are you the guy that's been working on that with Ottley?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That's amazing, dude. It's so sick." I was like, "How did you know about it?" Because I haven't posted anything about it. I haven't nothing. And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm the guy that I work for Whatnot, and I do all of Ryan Ottley's live streams with him."
Oh, no way.
And he said earlier today I was on a live stream with Ottley, and he just randomly was like, "You guys want to see something cool?" and pulled out my commission and showed everybody. And then this guy was randomly walking down the street and just saw me sitting with it. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Cool.
But yeah, it was a fucking blast. And like I'm completely elated by this. Like it's like the coolest thing. I can't stop talking about
Congratulations. Man, that's a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So while on the topic of Ottley, we spent a lot of time at his table and his booth, like going and checking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And on
so
the second day,
we'd like walk by every now and then and say, "Hey, how's it going?" Catch up.
I mean, how big of a fan of like Wolfman would you say that we are? Or that I am?
Pretty big.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Wolfman is up there for me. I think that it is highly underrated. I think that it is one of my favorite things ever.
I think it's the best side story. They're all great, but I think for me, Wolfman is my favorite side story of Invincible out of everything.
And I think that it's, again, saying that it's a side story doesn't really do it justice. It's its own thing.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
But it's in the Invincible universe, and so like, So anyway, so we go up and we're talking to Ottley, and there's this tall guy
standing next
to Ottley. And we're talking to Ottley, and Ryan Ottley goes, "Oh, hey, do you guys know Jason Howard?" And I don't, guys, I don't mean to offend anybody who listens to this podcast. I don't mean to offend Ryan Ottley. I don't mean to offend Robert Kirkman. I fanboyed so hard. I
think we all freaked out.
We all did. Even when I met Robert Kirkman for the first time, I did not act like this, and I feel like I was more
because
confident.
You were prepared and you knew you were about to meet him. To be thrown on the spot to one of your favorite artists,
guys, holy fuck! Jason Howard was just hanging out. He's like, "Oh yeah, I Ryan said I should come and hang out at his booth for a day or whatever," and like we just bent his ear and talked to him for like.
Yeah, we were talking about all some of his books and all this other stuff, and like Wolfman and how much we love it, and we're like, "Can we please give you money? Like, please, can we please? How much?"
I was like, "Please, I know that you're here anything. For fun. Can you please just would you do a commission?" And he was like, "Yeah, not sure. a problem." And then he's just like, "I just got to borrow some paper from Ryan," and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" So it's going to be like $800 for just the paper alone.
Ryan's paper costs more.
But guys, he was so amazing, and he was
awesome.
And he like how annoying to be there and then have guys go, "Oh my god, will you start working?"
It was cool though, because we did now side tangent. We were still helping Kyle with stuff every now and then, like getting things, picking things up if he needed something for his booth, and Kyle was on the other wall, like. You can reach through.
They were back to back.
Yeah, they were back to back at the convention.
And he was also swamped the entire time too.
So he had, and then obviously he had all the other Massiverse creators in his row, so who we had all gotten to know. So we were able to just like put stuff behind their table, stand behind their table. So it got to the point where we're just talking to Jason Howard behind the table, like just hanging out with him. And I think it reached the point after we had like walked away and caught our breath and then came back to later check on the commissions he was doing for us, that we like started talking to him more. And I think he didn't think we were weirdos is what I'm getting at. And it became a lot more comfortable, and like he was talking to us about some really cool stuff. And it was really great.
We talked to Wolfman and everything that he's doing.
And I think that was the thing. He found out pretty quickly, or eventually, that we're not just Invincible fanboys. Like we legit love Astounding Wolfman. And his art and everything and some of his other work. And so I think once that became clear, I was like, oh, yeah, these guys, okay, yeah, no, they really get it. So it was great. I got to add, obviously, not only knock out Ryan Ottley, but get a Jason Howard Invincible for my sketch cards, which is way more than I would have ever expected. And then you guys each got something.
How could it was a simulation, guys. How could we have been having such an amazing fucking time, and then Jason Howard falls into our lap, and guys,
you guys know Jason Howard, right?
Jason Howard, and we all just were like comically, like didn't even know like how to react.
Yeah,
like Yep. So we each got something from Jason Howard. Fucking amazing guy. We went and we found Astounding Wolfman comics to then get signed by Jason Howard as well. That was such a fun, like, man. That was day 2, and then day 3. Well, what
day 3 was we wanted to stop into the convention, pick up a couple things, and head out. That was also when we got to see Jen. Jen was doing day 3 Sunday, dressed up as Invincible, and her friend was doing Omni-Man. So Bill, you got to do action shots and video with them and hang out, and we got to pick up some of our last minute commissions, and then we wanted to get on the road early enough to not be home too late. So like there was never a lull. There was never a point where, obviously the nights we got to go out for dinner, hang out with Wyatt Layne some more. And
we went and got frozen yogurt, or we tried to get frozen yogurt with the entire Massiverse.
Yeah, walking around the Massiverse.
White Castle.
Eduardo Ferragato is just one of the best people.
So cool.
We just had a blast all around.
Yeah, we got some other stuff too. I had Eduardo. We went out to lunch the first day. I think it was the first day. Wasn't it the first day when we were in Lockport?
Yeah, like Thursday in Lockport.
Yeah, and we went out to lunch with Kyle, Eduardo. I think Michael was there.
Kelly
was there. A lot of Australians showed up out of nowhere. They just came to fucking C2E in Chicago. But me and Eduardo, we shared this love of like horror movies and Alien especially. So at the con, Eduardo had a table next to Kyle, and I asked him to do a Xenomorph for me, and he did. It was so awesome. It was the first thing that I got from the con, and it guys, I was just enamored by it, and
he crushed it. Yeah, he puts way more detail.
He's like, "You want some blood on it?" And I don't want to butcher his accent because I think that it's amazing because he's Brazilian. And I was like, "Yeah, you can put some blood on it, like maybe on the Xenomorph's mouth." And he's like, "I have an idea."
But he's like, "But they don't really bleed red. They it's acid blood. It's green." So he's like, "So it has to be someone else's. There has to be someone else's blood." He's like, "I got it."
Yeah. So I didn't see it, and then TJ, you and Ryan, you had seen what he was working on. You're like, dude,
make sure to send me a picture. I'll put it in the episode here.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's a Xenomorph like tearing a colonial marine just apart, and I love it. I spent so much money. I bought like the vendors were all awesome. Yeah.
And then I ended up getting I had to get an Invincible from him as well.
Yeah.
Which he killed too.
And since issue 10 of Radiant Black, where it's all blacklight issue, Kyle's been doing blacklight remarks. So he's gotten really good at that. And so I'm excited I've got a couple key issues that were done in blacklight and signed and have been sent off to CGC. I can't wait to see those. Bill, you haven't seen them because Eduardo was actually the one that accented that one in blacklight marker, and it looks incredible. It looks
ridiculous.
Incredible.
It's ridiculous.
But they immediately left my hands and went into the system for CGC, and I have no idea where they are or whose name they're attached to or anything about them. So hopefully they get back to me. But that was a ton of fun. But yeah. But that's it. I mean, then we drove back. Tried to come down from that high, and then a week or so went by, and TJ went to Toronto, finished up his Ryan Ottley commission. And here we are, excited for the next time we can do this, which will most likely, hopefully, all things being, whatever, it's going to be San Diego next year.
It'll be our first time at San Diego. And I say that like I'm done for a while and getting original art, but going to San Diego, like there's going to be some artists there, I imagine. So.
I think San Diego's going to be a whole other kind of experience.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot different.
It is. Still be crazy, but it's going to be different.
If you guys have ever been doubtful, I remember, TJ, Bill, you got to go to a con. You have to come. You have to go. And we went to New York City Comic Con and stuff like that.
And we have a whole episode about that. We had a blast. It was incredible getting to meet Robert Kirkman and chat with him a bit and everything. And it was really great. We had an awesome time there. This was just another level. This was just so much. It was that moment of getting to meet Robert Kirkman spread out over 3 days. It was a ton of fun.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So that does it for the main topic. You guys want to give any shout outs to anything that you guys have been into lately before we wrap up this episode? Any video games, movies, comics, TV shows, music? What is something that you've been into?
I saw Top Gun for the first time, and it was good.
Ryan and I already saw it prior.
Yeah. It's just a solid movie. We talked about it off air a bit. It's just a well-made, enjoyable, movie theater, movie classic cinema experience where it's just a movie. You know what I mean? And all the word or all the sense of the word that it's just a blast. It was
really good.
It was just a ride.
That's a great way to describe it.
It's some of our favorite movies where we come out of it the Star Trek reboot or Blade Runner 2049 or movies that are Mission Impossible Fallout where you walk out and you're like, that was a ride. We just
you check your pulse. And
you're not thinking about this and this. Oh, that was really bad in that part of the CG there, or the acting was a little you just come out of it that was solid.
Popcorn.
Movie.
It's a popcorn movie, and that's not saying that it's bad. It was really, really,
it
really.
Knew what it
good.
Was, and it was unashamed, just a blast. So
Yep.
I think Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Game of Thrones started back up. Are you guys watching that at all? Or
I haven't watched it yet.
Not yet.
I've done a couple episodes.
It's good. It's doing this really cool thing, and this isn't spoiling anything. And I think that it's a fun format where it's jumping ahead each episode quite a bit of time.
Really?
months. Like the first episode, and then the second episode is like 7 months later, and then the next episode 3 is like fucking almost a year later. It has to be.
That's interesting, because like the whole thing with this episode is that it takes place many years ago.
200 and something, almost 300 years. Yeah.
So at this rate, are they trying to cover a lot of time to get a little bit more current?
I don't think they're necessarily. I feel like it's gonna start to slow down.
Okay.
With the time jumps, I think that they just had to.
They had
put
to
pieces
get some
in place.
origin in there without it being
I did see an article, and I didn't click on it, so it could be bullshit. But I did see something that it was titled Game of Thrones, or whatever the name of the new show is. That it already House of the Dragon already broke the Game of Thrones timeline. So hopefully it's still within continuity.
I think that they would be aware of that. I don't know. Again, we'll see. I'm excited to check it out, though. That and Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm not, as much as I'm really excited for Lord of the Rings, I just feel like I have a lot of media on my plate right now, and I just don't want to burn out on that stuff, especially as I'm leading into a very busy time period at work with Harvest. So I'm taking it as we go. She-Hulk has been a ton of fun. Like, I actually really She-Hulk. Enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I want more. After every episode, I'm like really wanting more. It is the most like blatantly MCU thing. Like, this is not like, you know, like, yeah, we get things like Moon Knight or something where it's like, yeah, it's MCU, but you don't really, it doesn't mention anything. It doesn't need to be. It's just kind of is. And then you get things like Miss Marvel or something else where it's like, yeah, you know, they reference things here and there. Like, there's a couple things, you know, you got your Avengers Con and they say, oh, Ant-Man and this and that. And then you got this, which is like for the people that want the little things. Like, there is so much MCU references and jokes, and they're like just like boom, boom. You had a question about what that character is doing. Here's what that character is doing. You always the fans always joked about this. We're gonna reference that, like, and in a fun way that doesn't feel like it's pandering. It's not just pandering, and it's not just like a web video or whatever that they're going to make to slap on a DVD as a bonus material. Like, it feels genuine, and it's a ton of fun. I've really been enjoying it.
The fourth wall breaking, which I didn't even know was going to be a thing in the show, is done in a way that's not. It's like barely there.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked with that. That feels a little.
It is. Because I think it works.
No, it does. I knew that was coming because apparently she does it in the comics. She did it before Deadpool, I believe. But they're doing it so rarely now, and I can't quite get a read on when and why they do it and whether or not it's supposed to be, they're supposed to. Anyways, I'm not too sure about it. But when a show like Fleabag knocks it out of the park when it comes to that, it's hard not to compare.
Yeah. Also, I think, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a conversation that she has with Bosley. That's his name, right? Bosley, the Abomination.
Oh, yeah. It's not Bosley.
It's not Bosley, but
anyway.
Anyways, go ahead.
Anyways, with him, and it was so,
dude, it's so good,
spot on. It was so spot on with how contradictory like these movies are. With, wait a minute, if that hero did what he did and I did what I did, and I'm in jail and he's not, like, how is that fucking fair? And me and Liz literally stopped and looked at each other and were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, really enjoying it. Yeah. It's a ton of fun. Can't wait to watch more.
Really good.
My favorite thing probably that I've seen this month is a show called The Bear, which I think, Ryan, you finished it, right?
Yep.
I thought it was awesome, and it's something that you can binge in like 2 sittings.
It is worth it.
Don't do it.
It is incredible. It is worth it for the last 2 episodes.
No, I did it in 2 sittings, and I think
I did it in 3, I think, with Katie.
And both of you are gluttons for punishment. Dude, it's hard to watch. There are things in the show, like there's something so small in the second episode that you don't think is going to come back, but it comes back in such a big way in the finale that if you watch it like in like long times in between, like a couple, like one episode every couple of days, you're going to miss things like that. So I almost recommend watching it quicker. Yeah. I thought it was really intense though. There was definitely a moment where after a certain episode, Katie and I didn't want to watch another, but we're like, we have to. We literally have to. I was getting tired, and now I'm standing up. That's that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just it's like running a marathon, and then hitting play and running another marathon. It's like you there's no kind of down in it, which I think it's an amazing show. It really is. I think we have like maybe 2 episodes left. Mm-hmm. So
comic wise, 8 Billion Genies is still incredible. That's one of my favorite new comics.
Ryan,
it's so good, right? Man. It's
when
so
we talked about the last issue, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so fucking good.
It's so smart. I can't wait to keep reading that. I mean,
it is so smart. You're like, where is this gonna go? It could, and then it just like, I feel like now it just like got to
now we kind of know what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
I know Amazon picked it up, and it could be one of those things where, oh yeah, this story got picked up because it's good, but I really hope they do this in live action. I think that could be a ton of fun. Not saying that it's not a complete or well done product as it is, but it's just because it's so good. I'm really curious to see how they interpret it.
Yep. Batman Beyond the White Knight. Still reading that from Sean Gordon Murphy. Started the Red Hood spinoff.
Oh yeah,
which is very good.
Nice. That took place beforehand, right? That's already complete.
No, it's issue 1 just
ongoing,
it's on issue 2.
Oh wow,
it's on issue 2 right now. Yeah.
Nice.
I played and beat Stray, which was a quick game about a cat in futuristic post-apocalyptic kind of world.
Yeah.
The Elvis movie really surprised me. Was not expecting it to be that good.
Really,
it was awesome. It's really like.
Is it very Baz Luhrmann?
It's not very Baz Luhrmann, but you can definitely tell it's him for sure.
What's Baz Luhrmann?
Moulin
Great
Rouge and Great Gatsby.
Yeah. He did it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Romeo and Juliet?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Yep.
No shit.
Oh yeah. That's
really good.
That's like 75% of the reason I want to see it. Yeah.
Is his pizzazz on it? Because I would watch it
right now. The trailer had his pizzazz.
It is.
I didn't.
But you hate Gatsby.
Really?
Great Gatsby is atrocious, but Moulin Rouge
is such a good movie.
Fucking amazing, dude.
Oh, fuck you. You don't know anything about anything ever in life.
Great Gatsby. It's so boring.
Speaking of video games, I actually started.
How boring Leo DiCaprio is. So boring.
Speaking of video games,
I
started.
You guys friends? Do you call him Leo? Were you best friends? Is he there with you?
Ryan's trying to get us back on track here.
It's all right. It's very hot in this rhino. I started replaying God of War from 2018, the reboot of that, or the, I guess, whatever, continuation in a way. Wasn't sure because when I played it the first time, and we talked about it on this show because we were doing the podcast back then and begging TJ to play it. After beating it, I was like, this is now my favorite game of all time. And after not playing it, which he did end up playing. After not playing it for 4 years, I was like, I really wonder how this holds up, if it's still my favorite game, if I was just high on it at the time. After like an hour of playing it, I'm like, this is a perfect game. This is a masterpiece. It is still my favorite game. I'm so excited to finish this playthrough so that I'm ready to go for when the sequel comes out later this year. Can't wait.
Yeah. Once it's on sale again, I'm absolutely going to get it from my Steam Deck because I think it's going to be really fun. It's a really fun experience.
PlayStation right now. If you have PlayStation Plus, you have it.
I mean, I have it anyways.
Oh,
but I would absolutely buy it again.
You just want to play it on Steam Deck.
Yeah, I just want to buy it play it on my Steam Deck. I am playing Spider-Man
nice.
on my deck, and it is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun to play again.
Nice. I want to replay that. I'm going to replay that once we get a little closer to the sequel, I think.
It's really hard to go back to that after playing Miles Morales because Miles Morales, and we've talked about this.
I think it's been so long since I played Miles that I think I'll be okay.
I don't know, man. Because like the even the swinging mechanics feels better in Miles, and he's a little bit more like flamboyant and kind of fun with his swinging, and whereas Peter just really has like the same 2 or 3 animations over and over again. But it's fun to go back to it.
Yeah, cool.
Bill, have you watched or finished Barry?
No, dude. I watched the first 2 episodes and then we just fell off because something happened. I don't know. My opinion on Barry. So you've always loved Barry much more than me. Love it.
And I like it, but I just feel like each season, for me anyways, my opinion of it is that each season is okay. It's mediocre until the finale, and then each finale is just fucking insane. And that's kind of how I felt about the third season as well. The whole season is okay. The fucking finale, though, like you really just watch this show to get to the end of the season, and they always crush it. And I just want to talk about it. So you love the whole show.
I didn't see spoilers,
so you'll probably enjoy it much more than me.
I didn't see spoilers, but I remember the internet blowing up about the finale. Like,
really? That's crazy. I haven't seen anything about Barry.
Yeah.
Nothing. While it was, and I feel like maybe that's why
Pretty sure Wyatt watched it and he loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Another movie that was a huge surprise, Bill, is Prey. Was awesome. Oh man. Ryan, did you watch it?
I watched it.
Oh no!
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was great.
It was like badass. It wasn't like
great.
Scary. I feel like Predator has never been scary.
No, those aren't horror movies to me. Those
right, for sure.
Action
Same.
movies. Yeah.
But yeah, it was so good.
There are moments. It is such a good movie that your perspective changes. You're like, I want the Predator to win. Stop hurting him. I think he's a really great character. And you're like, I obviously want her to win. Like it did a really great job of just making you love the Predator. Oh my God, little things about his cloaking technology, how when it would come back on, it would like pop into place like sporadically. Like it wasn't just a really smooth kind of technology like it was, 300 years later. Oh, so smart.
Yeah,
very
smart. It was.
There was a fight scene that was long. It was a long fight scene, and it was all in one shot. Oh, I love it when they do that. Like it was so good. It was awesome.
But it was one shot that didn't like track, like it didn't like go kind of anywhere. It was kind of in one area, but the camera moved a lot.
Yeah, with the action.
People coming in and out of the shot. And if you didn't, I remember watching it, and I was like, was that one shot? Like, did I? Because it's so good and it was so awesomely choreographed that you weren't thinking about the fact you're like, wow, this is a one-shot take. Like, it was after the fact when I breathed, I was like, oh, that was one shot. Did you not know that, Ryan?
I have a guess, but maybe I didn't.
It's when she goes
into the camp and she starts taking out Americans.
All the Frenchmen.
Oh, yeah. No, I think I did miss it. Yeah. That is cool.
And then I started watching Paper Girls. I think I have 2 episodes left of that.
How is it? I'm really excited to watch that.
I'm really enjoying it. Cool. I'm really enjoying it. Oh, you started it too, right?
I think that it is starting to go down for me a little bit.
I'm not. I can agree.
I watched.
There's a slump.
Right, TJ, the episode where you're like, something's gonna happen, and you're gonna be like, why is this still happening? And I was like, this is what TJ was talking about. Like, it's like 20 fucking minutes long. Like, why are we still talking about this?
I was telling Bill that it's great. It's awesome, and I do really like it. Like I'm definitely finish it, and I want it to be renewed and whatnot. But there is like one scene in each episode where it's like, why is this scene here? And then I think it's like the 4th episode where there's what Bill's talking about, where I was like, wait till you get to this one thing. It just keeps going, and it's so out of nowhere. But
really?
But other than that, like it is great, and it's definitely worth it.
Neither of you have read the comic, right?
No. I read the first 1 or 2, and that was it.
I read 4 volumes.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see. Yeah.
4 volumes?
Yeah, 4 trades.
Yeah, I remember you like month to month.
So I'm excited to watch it.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. All right. That does it. Let's cut it off there. Thank you all for listening. This has been a fun little catch up. That was not bad. I think it's even all that short of an episode. It was great to relive those moments and talk a little bit more about the convention.
We rambled a bit.
Yeah, which was great. We haven't gotten a chance to do something like this in a while. Next month we'll be back, unless there's something major. We'll be doing another co-creator catalog episode. We'll put a poll up over on Twitter for y'all to vote on which one we should be talking about, which won't be Destroyer, but it'll still be cool.
Can you please I would really like to just beg on my knees.
It's been a long time.
Please vote for Destroyer.
We have 2 or 3 episodes.
We have, yeah. I'm excited though. I'm excited to jump back into one, and that'll do it for us. We'll see you all there. Thank you again, of course, to Wyatt Layne for just being the best and creating this outro music as well as our intro music.
For just being a cool guy.
Just being a cool guy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening.
Wait. What was her name?
Who?
I am. What was the waitress's name?
Samantha? Suzanne?
I have been.
I think it was Samantha.
Was it Samantha?
Rebecca?
We had a waitress that every time she came to the table, she would say, "Okay, I'm Bethany. I'm Bethany," and then she would walk away. And then she'd come back and bring our food. So, all right, I'm Bethany. All
right, if you need anything, shoot, what was that name? We'll figure it out. All right.
Anyways.
It is a joke only one other person gets. All right. Thank you all for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.